Hi, my name is Sterling Hart, and this is Dreamlight, where we work on dream interpretation and using the insights in the waking life. Vehicles in dreams are common. Sometimes it's your car or riding a bike. It could even be on horseback or mass transit, such as planes or trains. Shoes can also represent a vehicle. You can be in them or see them. Cars are the most common, but what do they mean? Always with dreams you have a personal association that's appropriate. But one of the main themes is that your vehicle is your way of moving through the world or getting along in life. So in some sense, it is your career, your school, your relationships. It reflects how you live and where you want to go and how you get there. What takes you along your path? For instance, my small business is my vehicle. It's supposed to get me where I want to go in life by making a living and also by being fulfilling. But you can also have something like running or walking as your vehicle. For instance, it keeps you healthy, burns off stress, and is time for reflection. There is also an artistic sense to vehicle. It's a means of expression. The vehicle allows you to do or to be or to say something. With dreams of vehicles, are you driving or going along for the ride? Are you alone or with others? A vehicle crashing, like a car, would indicate a fear or an ending. I will do a separate video on cars and airplanes, especially airplanes crashing in dreams. But airplanes have far-reaching elements, and if they are large commercial aircraft, there is a social aspect. Often social vehicles represent a worldview. Part of your way of getting through the world is with a group that you identify with and work with. They can represent class identities, as to a kind of car often speaks to aspects of a person's priorities or values, such as with a middle-aged man in a sports car or young families in SUVs. You can also think of somebody driving a big Cadillac or a Lincoln. Sometimes it denotes status. If you're driving it, it means some sense of control. Perhaps there is an issue that is emerging in the dream, but the quality of driving, where you were driving, the conditions of the road or the ride can all refer back to your vehicle. My friend dreamed that he was on a motorcycle and was headed along an open road in the daylight. It was somewhere to him out west, a wide open space with a few houses, and there were mountains. When he examined the dream, several things came up. One was that he used to ride a motorcycle when he lived in Florida. He got it to save money. It was cheaper than a car. He liked riding because you were exposed and the space was right there. It was very immediate. This took him out of his headspace of being worried and gave a sense of freedom. It has a visceral aspect that he liked. He had one in high school as well, and there was always a sense of image. People had ideas about him because he had a motorcycle. In the dream, the landscape didn't look like anything that he remembered. In the dream, it just meant out west. And this had the idea of being out of Florida, which at the time was what he wanted to do. The association that came up that made sense to him was that he felt he needed to open up more. He had been stressed at work and doing several projects at home. He found himself thinking about getting away. But as he looked at it, he realized that he just needed to calm his mind and be more open to what was around him. Enjoy the ride rather than getting caught up all the time. The motorcycle was a symbol in some sense for his emotional body. It was the medium of the emotional body that allowed him to express or to change it. I had a dream where I was standing at the end of a small rowboat at sea. In the center of the boat there was a mast-like pole, and on it was a horizontal extension that had a shoe. In the dream this spun around. The ocean to me seemed vast, so there was a sense of expansion to me, a kind of openness, but there was also a sense of being alone. The boat seemed to be small. I have been in canoes and small pontoon boats and larger ones, but never a rowboat or something that you might use for fishing. The pole seemed like a mast, but it had no sail. The extension with the shoe seemed like a training device for martial arts. The shoe itself was kind of a personal recurring dream symbol. It represented my life purpose, the path. This brought up a problem I had been having. My training in martial arts left me somewhat isolated because I was just good enough to need better people to train with for reaction drills. I was stuck alone floating on the sea with no sail, no wind, spinning around. The shoe I associated with several occasions where I had sat back and questioned what I was doing in life and why. In this case, it made sense that to me that the boat was something that you use to adapt to conditions, the sea, and itself was normally dependent on the wind and conditions to move forward. But there were times when you needed to row. If I were going to move further, I needed to make that happen. The wind via the missing sail meant no life, no breath, no life energy, no vitality. I associated this with the doldrums, where there is no wind at sea. There was no energy for improvement if I were to wait there in a stuck place just going around in circles. Both these dreams, the motorcycle and the boat, are really good examples of just one or two images with a little in the way of plot development, but still being meaningful when reflected upon. So even when you don't remember much of the dream, simple images can be rich when opened up. My friend had a dream of being on a train with his wife that was going up the side of a skyscraper. As it started going vertical, the cars rotated to stay level with the earth. They went up and there were other people around, and he was sitting at a table being served a thick molasses-like coffee. There was an announcement: passenger service to begin with luggage. The dream was very vivid and lifelike. My friend said that he and his wife had taken a train with their parents on vacation. He felt that it was connected to an older social order, one that moved more slowly. And he saw that there was a lot of different family dynamics with some of the passengers. It was like he had entered a new kind of world. The skyscraper to him meant the future. He had taken a job working for a design company and was going to move to New York City. That it was going up the skyscraper to him related to futuristic designs. Skyscraper size is often limited by the number of elevators that can be put into the building. Running trains up the vertical wall was a way of going bigger. He had an image of a movie driving down the side of a building in a car. That they rotated reminded him of some of the amusement rides as a kid. His family used to go to amusement parks, Disneyland and Disney World. The syrup he associated with a cartoon where they had poured coffee into a cup and cut it with scissors. It was supposed to be very strong. The announcement in the dream made sense, but not on waking. After thinking about the dream, he said that he thought it was about telling people his wife was pregnant. He had been thinking about how he grew up. He felt more energized in his career as he wanted to make more money and provide more so his wife could take time off from work to stay home for a few years. He had also been talking to his wife about meeting new people at work and generating some sense of community. She had gotten a job also, but they didn't know very many people there. His community would be kind of thrown together like passengers on the train. So I had a dream where I was riding on horseback, which I have not done since I was a kid on vacation. I was riding back home and going along this kind of diagonal path. I kept getting closer to the edge of the road and this fence. The dream was dark, black, white, and gray. There was a person with me that I was talking to. At a certain point, I was cutting across somebody's field that I knew. I thought about someone unnamed in the dream, and there was the idea that he was doing something, but it seemed vague. The horse I associated with my vitality. I had a friend who took up horseback riding for about a year, and she talked a lot about communication with the horse, feeling the movements and how emotionally sensitive they are. The unseen person with me felt like I was talking to myself in my head. The diagonal path to me is a kind of cutting across, having a more direct route. Cutting across someone's field is something I did growing up. I lived out in the country and we would cut across fields when visiting friends. There is an idea that someone I know is doing something. The dream on waking was vague. The images were gray. To me, this is low energy. I've been a full-time yoga teacher for over 20 years, so my body and its vitality is my vehicle. I had not slept well the night before. It had been interrupted, and I was low energy the day before the dream. I got things done, but I had to fight this tendency to skip things or take shortcuts. It made me slow. I wanted to work on a couple of videos, but I was too tired to write well, so I put that off and went outside to work on the house. The tiredness made me more aware of what normal is. The horse, my vitality, was still carrying me along, but I was conscious of the relationship between my sense of self and my body-mind. The person doing something seemed to me to be a symbol of the subconscious. I operated somewhat on momentum and could do physical work where the mind didn't need to be too sharp. In subliminal dreams, there is often a sense of the self making progress when you are traveling in or driving a vehicle. A common theme is to be confronting some problem and then be in a vehicle going somewhere else, moving past things or going further to new experiences. Several people I know have had flying car dreams of this sort. In both cases, they were convertibles, open to the sky. Another common theme is cars going underwater, either represented being overwhelmed or of going deeper and gaining more maturity or knowledge or more power in some endeavor. Sometimes there are crazy trips in a vehicle going very fast and rolling through obstacles or making insane turns or going off mountains, something you would experience like a video game. These usually have two themes: courage, sometimes even a knowing you won't be hurt, and the ride is the focus. There is often no awareness of where one is going. These often deal with feeling confident or falling in love. When there is a new attraction to somebody, this feeling of new possibilities in life suddenly coming alive and moving very quickly. This is also probably related to increased dopamine levels in the brain. L-Dopa is sometimes taken to affect dreams or influence lucid dreams for this reason. Dreams can change with certain related medications also. If you get something from this video, please hit the like. If you want more dreams, please subscribe. I'm Sterling Hart. Till next time.